And joining us now on the show, our good friend, the Public Service Commissioner of the Southern District and also the Chairman of the Public Service Commission, Dane Maxwell. Good morning, Commissioner. How are you today, sir?
Well, good morning. Thanks again for having me.
You bet. Glad you could join us today. I know a lot going on in your world. Talk to us about these broadband grant applications for the electric cooperatives that I think you perhaps already have in hand and are in the process of reviewing. Give us an update.
Yeah, we have a number of those applications in hand, hoping to have more come in soon. We're evaluating them as they come in. Looking forward to getting on our first start on some of these shovel-ready projects that are out there. So I think you're going to see some groundbreaking pretty quick, and I think you're going to see the expansion of broadband steady moving. You know, I talk to people all the time, and they ask me these questions, am I going to have it by Tuesday? And, it's like, no, we got to put some cable in the ground. But I'm telling you, we're miles ahead of a lot of states.
Yeah.
Very proud of what the legislature did this year. And I'm very excited about what our federal leadership is doing, because those guys right there are really pushing for that RDOF funding, which is another $960 million to be released, and that'll take us where we need to be. So excited! Applications are coming in. People are calling the commission and letting us know where their weak areas are, where they're not served, where they're underserved, and it's moving fast. It's great.
So catch us up there, Dane. We have, is it 24 electric cooperatives in the state of Mississippi? Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So we have 24. Have all 24 applied for the grants?
No, some of them are still doing their evaluation.
Okay.
They're having to do this evaluation for their membership to make sure that it's going to be they can financially do it.
Okay.
And so some of them are still doing that process. A number of the EPAs that were working with the electric cooperative leadership, I'd say right now we probably have about 20% maybe that have filed their application, and it's all over the state. It's not just in one area. But, man, I'm telling you what, people are looking at it, and they're seeing the realistic value of it, that, with COVID. And then you turn around and look at what this funding that the state legislature put in makes it a lot easier for them to make that decision. Remember, they're matching the funding. So the EPAs are going to, put up a 100% match. So if we give them $100 million, they're going to put $100 million in it, at no cost to the ratepayer either.
And so this is, of course, consistent with, or I should say, a function of the money appropriated as part of the CARES Act, the $1.25 billion that was allocated to the state of Mississippi. It was allocated to all 50 states based on population with a minimum of $1.25 billion. And the legislature, of course, very, very busily addressed that and put forth plans to allocate. And this was a big chunk of that. The total amount, tell us how much that was, Dane, that went specifically to this effort to build out broadband networks?
Well, we had from the state legislature and CARES Act money, we had $75 million invested by the state, and the co-ops matched it for $75, so that's $150 million. On the federal side, the Rural Development Opportunity Fund, that will be funding that will come in a short time, and that'll be another $960 million. So a little over $1 billion to help lay this plan out. And I think we're going to be able to get it done.
Gotcha. Well, so that's a whole bunch of money, as you know, but it's an arduous process. As someone who made a living building networks for a long time, that it's not something you just snap your fingers and all of a sudden you've got instant internet connectivity. There's a lot of it's a very complex project and very complex undertaking, not just from a technical perspective, but from a logistical perspective as well. But it sounds like at a minimum, we have addressed the economic aspect of this which was really the watershed event needed to get this going to implement pervasive network connectivity across the state. We happen to be a state that has a lot of rural areas, and it's a difficult economic matter, and it's a difficult physical matter as well. So, a bit more of a challenge for us. But it sounds like we're ahead of a lot of states, which is good. So here's the question: what do you expect in terms of having some of these networks installed and ready for service by the time the school year starts? As the school districts are, I think by the end of the week, have to provide their plans for reopening. And, of course, there are three approaches available. One of those is an all virtual. One of those is a hybrid, which would use some traditional in-class and some hybrid. They need these networks to accomplish that. Is it possible any of these will be up and running by the time school starts?
Well, the interesting thing is I think you heard that we put together a committee called the Connectivity Committee, and that is made up of school superintendents across the state, along with hospitals for the telemed, and economic development aspect of that too, and an industry representative. But what these guys are doing, like my hometown of Pascagoula, for example, they're already connected all the way through Pascagoula and Gautier.
Yeah.
It's the rural areas that really have this challenge, and unfortunately, that's going to be the toughest to get to, is those underserved, which is why we're making them go there first. Will it happen by the school year? I think some might. Some already has, the capability of getting high-speed fiber to it, simply because we allow the partnerships with some of the major carriers like Entergy and Mississippi Power to share their fiber. So I think you're going to see some of those may happen. Will a majority of them? No. This is really a construction issue, and so it's going to take a little bit of time. But we may or may not have, it to everyone's place by the school year, but it just depends on a lot of factors. So I can't really say that it's going to be at every school, but we will get them to some. Yeah.
So, all right, give us an update on the robocalls. We had a pretty good update last time you were on the program. I certainly, my personal experience is that the volume is way down, and you had shared with us a story where I think you guys went after somebody, or I guess maybe got our Attorney General to do so, and won some money from that.
Oh, yeah, look, let me tell you, we got some money out of it, about $6 million, I think it was.
Right.
We're continuing to pound on those guys. That's one of my things I've been on. And when I was last 2 times I've been in D.C., I've been arguing and fighting over that, and we've been able to get some things moved with the FCC. But yeah, we've got a lot of good things happening at the commission. Robocall smashing is one of my top priorities, but we're getting it done. We also, let me just say, we just approved. I just signed off on a $80 million solar facility for Clark County and an $80 million facility to Hancock County. So,
wow.
You're going to see those solar facilities up and running, and it's going to create jobs, about 300 jobs during construction, no cost to the ratepayers, and is going to generate about 78.5 megawatt capacity. So I'm proud to have that happen. And then, of course, we have I got selected as a delegate for the RNC, so we're working through that too. We're doing all this other stuff. So it's been a busy time at the PSC.
We got
excited about it.
Appreciate all your work there. We got a couple of minutes left. I know you were very involved in the Trump campaign in 2016. What are you thinking? What do you hear? And what's your gut feel right now?
Well, right now, I'm like every other hardworking blue-collar guy. I mean, we're working every day, and we're going to support the president.
Yeah.
And the polls don't reflect that. It didn't in 2016.
Yep.
It won't now. And the reality is people understand what he brought to the table, and we're going to continue to support him. I'm going to start the campaign pushing now in Mississippi, We're just about to kick it off, and then we're going to focus on battleground states. And,
Appreciate it, Dane.
I've asked him to come here to the state, and we'll see what happens, and I'll keep y'all posted as we get further along on that.
Dane Maxwell, Public Service Commission Chairman, and also representing the Southern District. Thanks for coming on, Dane. Appreciate it, man.